It's your boy, sometimes your girl, Charlotte Carolina, and I compiled. This is one of those compilation videos. Man, you mamas leaving your boyfriends with these kids. This shit gotta stop. It has to stop right now. There's too much death going on. Save the children. Save the children. I don't want to make no more of these fucking videos, but I guess I'll always have to, right, y'all? Because niggas ain't listening. And would somebody go ahead and prosecute this nigga, Darian Vance, all of this? Oh, he killed this little girl. And she was sexually assaulted. There needs to be some mental health being put in place for the parents before they even have children. Let's get into this, y'all. Love you, Malaya, Mariah, and all the rest of them. Let's get it. And that's from Charlotte, Carolina. Love you.
About Malia Davis. We know a lot of you are very, very interested in that story. If you're just joining our digital update here today, we can tell you that her stepfather has been indicted by a grand jury for tampering with a corpse. No murder charge in this case yet, but we are talking with our legal analyst right now, and later today we're gonna get his opinion on why that hasn't happened and just how this case is going and where he thinks it will go from here. Prosecutor strategy, things like that. So we're going to have some of that for you coming up on our 411 newscast at 4 o'clock. I see a lot of you also mentioning Malia's mother, Brittany Bowen. She has not been charged with any crime, and we see what you're saying there, but that's just the facts of the case so far. But keep in mind, the prosecutors and the detectives are still working this, and I'm sure we have not heard the last of what they plan to do here. Another story we continue to follow that you're very interested in as well.
And I'm tired of them. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right there in 2 seconds. I'm tired of these niggas. I had to get a knife to open my freeze pop, y'all. Couldn't find the scissors right now. But I'm tired of these niggas trying to call it something else so they can change the charges. This shit is getting ridiculous, you heard me? Let's keep it moving.
It's a story that we've been following since our news at midday. Thanks for joining the noon hour. Good afternoon. I'm Sherman Chow. We have just learned the cause of death for little Malia Davis. Harris County coroner is saying it is a homicide. Janelle Bluda is in our Westheimer newsroom now with details. Janelle. Sherman, 6 days after her funeral, we finally have an official cause of death, and it may change the charges filed in this case. The Harris County Institute of Forensic Science released their official findings just an hour ago. Malia's cause of death was homicidal violence, and her death is officially ruled a homicide. The only charge that has been filed so far in her death is the one charge against Malia's stepfather, Darian Vance. Vance is currently being held at Harris County Jail for tampering with evidence, namely a corpse. Court records show his charges have not been upgraded as of now, and there are no new charges showing against anyone else. Vance had reportedly told local activist Quanell X that Malia's death was an accident, but did not go into detail after telling Quanell where he put Malia's body in Arkansas. Vance's attorney has declined to comment on the ruling. As for the district attorney's office, they tell us their investigation is continuing, and all evidence will ultimately be presented to a grand jury to determine what charges are appropriate. Sherman?
All right, thank you very much, Janelle. And as this case develops, we'll be sure to update you. You can get push alerts to your phone. Just turn on notifications in your settings on our KHOU 11 app.
Just sad at this time, but we're going to celebrate today.
An overflow of pink
teal and purple colors filled the New Life Deliverance Tabernacle Sunday afternoon.
I'm hoping that today that it will give them strength today, knowing that they have friends and family that's supporting them.
Friends, family, and the community all came together to celebrate the life of 17-month-old Nariah Brown, who died after being violently sexually assaulted inside a South Richmond motel earlier this month.
She was a fun-loving baby. They call her Butt. She loved Mickey Mouse. She loved to play with her family. She laughed. She was just learning her first words and everything. She's dearly missed.
The family wanted to keep the memorial service somewhat private, but family friends say they are so thankful for the support they received at a time where there are no words to describe this kind of loss.
Asia has been very strong. She has said that all of this is overwhelming. She didn't expect it. She expected to be holding a baby, and that was her expectation of any mother.
An unexpected turn that after today, the community will still be behind her, giving her the support she needs.
It doesn't stop here, and I want the community to know it don't stop here. After it's gone and the repast is over, reach out to her. Let's see what she needs.
Continuing to bring hope at such a difficult time. Working for you, Gabrielle Harmon, CBS 6 News.
It's crazy, bro. This shit's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? You need to get your shit together. But on that Mariah case, why hasn't any... I don't, I know she might be going through something right now, but...
For Darla Miles, the only TV reporter in New York City inside the courtroom. She was live.
And now to a murder trial today. A toddler tortured and sexually abused on Staten Island today. His babysitter was sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison for the crime.
I was for Darla Miles, the only TV reporter in New York City inside the courtroom. She was live in the St. George section. Darla.
Bill, Diana, this morning Gloria Fields entered a plea agreement with prosecutors in order to avoid every grisly and vile detail of what was done to Anthony Delgado being detailed in open court. And even though she admitted to everything done to this little boy, the judge still had to force her to go into the courtroom and face the family.
I would never be able to buy Anthony another bag of cheese doodles.
It was just hard to hear, hard to talk about. So painful, the mother of Anthony Delgado had her brother read the victim's impact statement at the sentencing for the woman who tortured her 17-month-old son to death.
I do not understand in what world it might be acceptable to ever allow an individual who not only... I'm just going to end that there. I can't read that part.
The thoughts are haunting what this sweet little boy endured back in 2016. Over a 3-day period, his head was slammed on the floor. He was shaken, even sexually assaulted. 32-year-old Gloria Fields pled guilty to first-degree murder Tuesday morning, but refused to enter the courtroom if she was going to be filmed.
She didn't want to come out today. What was that about?
She thought that she complied with the judge's order. The judge said that she had to cooperate with probation, that she had to not get arrested and show up. And she believed show up meant in the courthouse.
To me, that was being like a coward. You wouldn't face the people who you've affected.
The family applauded as Supreme Court Judge Wayne Ozzie imposed the sentence. But before he did, he said, "This is the most disturbing case I've ever presided over. I was watching you as Mr. Delgado gave his statement. You showed no emotion. It just confirms my belief that you're just depraved in some way."
Justice was served, and we got justice, and that's all that matters to us.
Now, Fields opted not to address the family at all during her sentencing today. Again, she was sentenced to 23 years to life. Judge Ozzie noting that she's only eligible for parole after 23 years, so she could serve a much longer sentence.
You're supposed to protect your kids, but when you fail at that responsibility, the state, our laws, and police have a duty to step in.
But in the case of a young Georgia girl, all of those safety nets failed her and gave her attacker time and space to continue to abuse her. School was one of those few consistent places Sophie could go and enjoy just being a kid. It was a place she could eat, play, and laugh with other fifth graders. And for a few hours a day, get a break from her unstable home life.
And she's very special. All of them are, but she was born premature. Yellow jaundice.
That was then. On this particular day, the little girl is 9. We're calling her Sophie to protect her. Your granddaughter has been through so much.
She has. And for her to keep living and be strong, she has an angel with her.
Police were also with her February 2016 as she got off the school bus into her grandmother's van.
All of a sudden, Grantwood Police Department surrounds me.
Sophie had realized during sex education class that the man who was touching her at home was actually sexually abusing her. She told her elementary school administrators. They alerted police, and officers were now speaking to her grandmother. What did they tell you exactly?
That she claimed that he had touched her.
He was 34-year-old Nicholas Dion Thrash. He was Sophie's mother's live-in boyfriend.
There was never a sign at all of any kind of child molestation.
After the interviews with her, I knew that he had done something.
Hogansville police investigator Jeff Shepard remembers taking over the case from Grantville police because this house, where Thrash was abusing little Sophie, was just minutes from his police station. What made this one so believable?
How does a 9-year-old make something up that graphic and traumatic?
As Lieutenant Shepard and social workers with the Division of Family and Children's Services were busy making sure Sophie is physically okay, Thrash disappears.
And it was as if he fell off the face of the earth. Where's Nicholas Thrash? Mom says that she hasn't seen him. She can't get him on the phone. We know during the interviews that the children say the mom's talking to him on the phone.
It was Lieutenant Shepard's first sign that Sophie's mother would become one of the biggest obstacles in his investigation.
Mom did not even come to the house for the search warrant.
But Lieutenant Shepard and his team went inside and found clothes, blankets, and underwear in Sophie's room, clear with DNA evidence. But Mom still wanted the case dropped.
But Mom had started then. You know, this case, you know, my daughter's, you know, I don't think she's telling the truth.
There was a defense order saying Sophie needed to be kept away from Thrash. Her mother still drove her hundreds of miles out of state to reunite with Thrash in Indiana before defects could stop her. Sophie and her brother were once again sleeping under the same roof with her abuser, this time in this house in Indiana. Grandma waited, hoping they would come back. During that time, Lieutenant Shepard was also waiting for the DNA test results.
Because at the time, we didn't have a warrant on paper yet, because there's believing somebody, but then there's getting the evidence to get the warrant.
The wait gave Thrash the space and time he needed to continue abusing Sophie outside Georgia.
Maybe I got some tunnel vision on the investigation. I didn't put a rush on the DNA.
The test results did eventually come back. Almost 2 years later, it confirmed Thrash had been raping the 9-year-old in the Stroup County house. But it was too late. By then, he had raped her multiple times again in Indiana, and she was now pregnant with the 34-year-old's baby.
He is a sick individual. Very sick. Very sick. Who hurts the baby that way? Who?
He's robbed her of her entire childhood.
Faith, since we published Sophie's story on 11alive.com, we've heard from people all over the country concerned about her. How's she doing?
You know, we've been trying to get those answers for weeks now, and I finally got in touch with her grandmother this week. The good news is Sophie is doing so much better. She's finally out of the mental health hospital and is getting ready to reunite with her child who's in foster care in Indiana. Sophie turns 13 this year, and she's optimistic about her future.
Man, y'all and these live-in boyfriends. What's with the live-in boyfriend situation? Y'all is crazy with that bullshit, blood. Live-in boyfriend when you got children? Shit. You need to put them under investigation. You need a background check when you got children and a live-in boyfriend. You crazy bitches. But that's crazy though. Pregnant. Damn.
I don't know why Edna has so much hatred toward her daughter.
Her family says her mother hated her. And now this girl from Grand Rapids is dead at the age of 16. Police in the Atlanta area say that she was starved to death. And now they've arrested her mother on murder charges. Tonight, we're looking into what happened, why family members are saying the state of Michigan dropped the ball, and what their own investigative work has uncovered about what may have led to all of this. 24-Hour News 8's Leon Hendricks is live in studio with this story.
Right, good evening. Family members say they tried repeatedly to get help after signs of abuse became apparent while the family was still here in West Michigan. But they say they couldn't get action before the family left the state. And their own investigative work leads them to believe that there may have been more than just that hate at play here.
Well, they told me that possibly for 2 years that my grandchild has been starved systematically.
It's a tale of surprise after disturbing surprise, years-long concerns surrounding abuse, and this 38-year-old woman, Ebony Berry. That all came to a shocking end here at a Georgia area home this past weekend, where family members say police found the lifeless and emaciated body of 16-year-old Marquia Blakely Berry after a 911 call that she was unresponsive.
She suffered. My granddaughter suffered. And her mama need to be justified. To the day I die. Because she didn't have to kill my grandbaby like that.
But years before she was ever here, she was here on Grand Rapids Southeast Side. She was here, and so were concerns and complaints.
We did everything in our power to keep our grandkids safe.
Child Protective Services launched more than a half dozen investigations, but only once did they substantiate abuse. Still, Berry ended up in the Atlanta area. While she had...
Yo, what's going on with CPS, DCF, and all them motherfuckers? You niggas is not doing your job. Why the hell are these kids being hurt like that and y'all go and investigate and then leave them in the place where they get killed? So not alone the people that neglect them, the parents, the mothers, and the boyfriends. CPS should be held accountable for this bullshit. It needs to stop. It just needs to stop. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's your girl, sometimes your boy, Charlotte, Carolina. And you know my slogan, I'm flexing on these hoes like Hulk Hogan. This shit hurts my cheek. This shit hurts my feelings, man. This shit hurts my feelings. Somebody say these children. Love you. Protect yourself. Love somebody. And you don't gotta love yourself to love someone else. Gotta go.